is going on, barbarians? Welcome to another video, and this time I'm going to look at the career of Zlatan Ibrahimović. Yes, that is another guy that we have been seeing on. Matter of fact, I'm going to do the whole Fox Sports analyst panel table. So we're going to do Thierry Henry right after this. So before we get into that, make sure you like, subscribe, and you hit that notification button because we are catching up with over 100 years of football history, and y'all been leaving some great recommendations. I've been watching some great videos to learn about some great players. So any other players you want me to learn about, put them in the comments and I'll put it on a list and we'll go through it. I have a long list of players, so be prepared to rock with me. We got years of this to get this done. All right then, let's get right to it, man. Look at Zlatan. Am I saying it right? It's Zlatan.
They said every player has a master, a coach to shape him, a system to contain him. But Zlatan Ibrahimović was born...
I said it wrong, Ibrahimović. I said Abramovich. I said it wrong. So Zlatan Ibrahimović.
Uncoachable.
You want to play with fire, I'll bring you fire, but I will burn you.
Forged in chaos, raised on hunger, and built on pure defiance. He was football's wild experiment. Standing 6'5", Zlatan was a giant, but his ego was even bigger. Shithousery.
Oh, he wasn't letting nobody play with him. Bully. That's what I'm talking about. Be a bully. What you think was his most wildest moment? You know, I like to ask y'all questions, so let me know in the comments. What do you think it was his most wildest moment? Before they show me anything, let me know what you think his wildest moment was. And who do you think was wilder than him?
Trash talking.
Television than reality. And you know better football than me?
No.
So what are you talking about?
Dear Los Angeles, you're welcome.
Third-person quotes.
When you buy Ibrahimović, you buy a Ferrari.
Savage comebacks.
Everybody thought that I'm too old, but I came and I made the Premier League look old.
He lived for it.
Man,
You wanted to hate him so bad, but he was just too good to hate. He'd talk a mountain of nonsense, then step on the pitch and back up every word. This was a player no coach could tame, no tabloid could shame, and no player could game. He was not just a player, not just a legend. He was Zlatan. Zlatan Ibrahimović was born in Malmö in 1981 to a Bosnian father and a Croatian mother, both of whom emigrated to Sweden in the 70s. They were very poor.
Malmö is in Sweden. Is in Sweden. Okay.
Really poor, but that was not even the worst thing about Zlatan's childhood. When he was a little boy, he endured abuse from his mother, who'd often hit him on the head with a wooden stick. While still a kid, his parents got divorced, his half-sister had a drug problem, his mother was arrested for handling stolen goods, and his dad had an alcohol problem.
Hey, that sounds like an average American household. I ain't gonna lie. That's I don't know. Like, you know how sometimes they try to embellish stories, and like they're doing it right now, embellish stories. And sad to say, that sounds like the average American household, which it shouldn't be that way. But, you know, they embellish it like, man, he came from nothing. He came from this, and his parents split apart, his mother abused him, and this, that. It's like, I don't know, man. I think he got regular whoopings and discipline.
After the divorce, he was first living with his mum, but following her arrest, he went to live with his dad at the age of 9. But things weren't any better there. He'd go hungry for days because there was never food. He'd open the fridge, and instead of food, all he'd see was beer. All of this pushed him to begin to shoplift and steal bikes just to get by. An upbringing this tough-shaped Zlatan to be a real...
But I ain't trying to, you know what I mean? I ain't trying to dookie on his story. Whatever, but I guess from the stories I've been hearing, you get what I'm saying? The stories I've been hearing and seeing from watching everybody else of like dirt floors and all this, whatever. I guess it's the narrator, because the narrator is trying to make it seem like it's like bottom of the barrel worse. And it's like, I don't know, it's a pretty, this is gonna sound crazy. It's a pretty tame, sad story, as they would say. Like, it's like, I've seen worse, but he still had to experience it and go through it. So we're not gonna diminish what you had to experience whatsoever. So we're not gonna do that.
Really tough kid. He learned to fight as a means of survival, and he channeled his rage into becoming the best at the one thing he truly loved and cared about: football. But even football was super mean to him at the beginning. See, Zlatan began kicking a ball around at 6, and when he was 13, he moved to Malmö FF. But at 15, he was already done and wanted to quit, favouring a job at the docks instead. But his youth coach convinced him not to quit. And well, the entire world of football owes that man a big thank you, because what that moment produced was something we had never seen before. After that talk with his manager, Zlatan kept his head down and worked his way up to the Malmö first team at the age of 18. But even then, things still weren't good for him. He suffered relegation from the top flight in his first season as a professional footballer, a horrible experience for him. But
So being on the team, okay, what's the worst league you could possibly get? So I got a question. On relegation, right? And I did a whole video on relegation, and that's actually my most popular video. So after you keep getting relegated and it keeps going and going, let's say you're at the bottom league, and then you're at the bottom of that league, then it just make you just disband your whole club. Then it's like, all right, man, this club is over. You guys are trash. Or it kind of automatically kind of get disbanded due to the fact of lack of economic power and fan base is not going to pull in for no team that's trash. So it kind of automatically just disintegrates because it's ass. That's what I'm basically asking.
he stayed focused and helped his team return to the top flight after just one season. It was during this period that Arsene Wenger noticed Zlatan and wanted to bring him over to Arsenal. He told the striker to come in for trials, but a teenage Zlatan looked in the eyes of one of the greatest coaches in the world and told him, "I don't do trials. It's either you want me or you don't."
Everything was good until he said you come and do a trial, and I was looking at him. Obviously, he's Wenger, I'm nobody in that moment. I said, I don't do trials. And he was like, what do you mean? I don't do trials.
For many,
Stop playing with him. Stop playing with him. But that's a lot of that. A lot of that come from being tall too. Me being a taller person and stuff. It's kind of, you don't like being told. Almost, you don't like being told what to do, especially by shorter people or shorter and unathletic people, or being told, like, it's like a power thing. Like, oh, you're not accepting me? Okay. All right, then.
turning down a club like Arsenal in that manner would have meant the end of their career, but this is Zlatan we're talking about here. The story only just started. In
Supreme
2001, he moved to Ajax, and you'd think that things immediately took off for him after a big move like that, but that wasn't the case. Not at all. He was hardly used under coach Adriaans. It took the Dutch boss getting sacked for Zlatan to finally get his breakthrough. When Ronald Koeman took over, he immediately inserted Zlatan into his starting lineup, and he helped Ajax win the Eredivisie in the 2001 to 2002 season.
Okay, this is another question I got. For talent scouts, like I said, how do they know who is good and who isn't? Because I've seen, like I said, it's like an eyeball test. With the eyeball test, and you look at somebody like Zlatan that's 6'5", and how do you be like, nah, I'm not gonna start you? Like, how do you look at somebody that's big, that tall, that imposing, and be like, you know what? I'm not gonna start you. You're not even gonna be the goalie. Like, how do you dismiss that?
You could say that this was where the story truly began. In 2002, he made his UEFA Champions League debut against League One champions Lyon, and he scored a brace in that game. He was just 20. He'd end up scoring 5 goals in his first Champions League campaign, helping Ajax go all the way to the quarterfinals. But the real highlight of his Ajax career came in 2000.
Yo, I would have said Ajax if I did not know how they don't pronounce the J. If it doesn't have an A sound to it, I definitely would have said Ajax. But, you know, learning this sport and learning about these different countries and how their pronunciation and enunciation of different words matter. But an American definitely would have said Ajax.
2004, when he dribbled past 5 players before scoring an incredible solo goal against NAC Breda. We had never seen a player that tall yet so technical. A giant who could move that way was something rarer than Astatine. This dude was a maverick, an absolute freak of nature.
Ibrahimović.
Crazy. Going crazy. Going crazy. Going crazy. What are you talking about? Crazy.
But what we didn't know was that we hadn't even seen half of it yet. That year, Zlatan made a step up, moving to Italy to join Juventus. In his first season for the club, he was directly involved in 28 goals in 46 appearances across all competitions. He helped Juventus win the Scudetto, which was later taken from them due to the Calciopoli scandal.
So I did a video on this. And people were mad at me about this video. And I'm like, hey, they were like, well, you picked Barcelona and what you talk about what Barcelona did. And I'm like, hey, I'm only 3 weeks into this. I have a list of scandals. Barcelona was on here like 3-4 times. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to get to that. There's no favoritism because I haven't even watched a Barcelona game yet. I have no favoritism in none of this. I'm just getting things as the most popular things are coming to me when people are telling me, hey, look at this, look at this, look at that. So that was like the first scandal people told me to look at. And I was wondering, I said, yo, what famous players were around during that time? And I thought it was Zlatan. I thought he was a part of that. But I guess it was Zlatan. That's crazy.
And he also helped them reach the quarter-finals of the Champions League. After that successful season, reporters said that Real Madrid were ready to pay 70 million euros for Zlatan.
Man.
That amount in 2005 was crazy, but everyone believed it because it was Zlatan. But it was later revealed that that was nothing more than a publicity stunt to help boost the market value of the Swedish striker. Yeah, typical Zlatan Ibrahimović. Anyway, following Juventus' relegation to Serie B as punishment for their involvement in the Calciopoli scandal, Zlatan closed his Juventus chapter permanently, but he loved Italy so much, so he remained there, making a move to Inter Milan, a club he claimed.
See, I'm starting to remember the teams, okay? Even by the jerseys, I ain't even got to, you know what I mean? I ain't even got to go look it up. I'm starting to remember.
To have supported when he was younger. To be honest, he didn't act like a boyhood fan of the club, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, he spent 3 years at Inter and they were all really good. In his first season, he was directly involved in 24 goals in 36 appearances across all competitions, and he helped Inter win the Scudetto with a record 97 points. In his second season, he was directly involved in 31 goals in 34 appearances across all competitions, helped Inter successfully defend the Scudetto, and was named Serie A Player of the Year. He was at the peak of his powers at this point, and he continued to get better on the pitch, but his decision-making off it ruined him. You'll see what I mean in a bit. But in his third season at Inter Milan, Zlatan helped Inter three-peat the Scudetto. He won the Capocannoniere as the league's top scorer, and he was named Serie A Player of the Year again.
Boy, he putting in pain, boy.
After having conquered Italy, Zlatan decided to try something new. It was a good idea, but his timing was just super awful. In 2009, Zlatan joined reigning UCL champions, FC Barcelona.
When everybody got mad at me when I said Barcelona was like the Lakers, or better yet now, they're like Kansas City Chiefs or the Patriots when Tom Brady, but everybody decided they wanted to go play with them to keep the championships going, to keep it up. It makes sense. Look at this. I'm like, yo, every time I have done or looking at somebody's career, they had some stint in FC Barcelona, right? And then everybody got mad at me when I picked them. I said they're doing great marketing. Obviously, they're doing great marketing because look at all the players that they have. So, of course, when I get introduced to this sport, and the first thing we see is them being marketed to us, and we're like, hey, we like that little dude. Who does he play for? And of course, they're doing elite marketing over there.
Were the best team in the world, so it looked like the best decision for his career, but it was probably the worst. He actually started brilliantly in Spain. He made history by becoming the first Barcelona player to score in his first 5 La Liga games for the club. After 7 league games, he was already on 7 goals and was topping the charts. But he picked up a thigh injury which sidelined him for 3 weeks. But on his return, he came off the bench and scored, against Real Madrid no less.
In the Classico.
And that began a run of 4 straight league games of scoring. He'd also go to the Champions League where he scored both Barcelona's against Arsenal in the quarterfinals. He was just unstoppable. But in March, everything started to slowly crumble. First, it was a red card against Almeria, which forced him to serve a 1-game suspension. He returned and scored in 3 straight league games. But then, during warm-up ahead of a game against Athletic Club, he picked up another injury. This sidelined him for 4 games.
But then that also comes in with his height and his frame, his height and his frame. So that probably just started shredding his thighs and his knees immediately.
Including the return leg against Arsenal in the Champions League. After he returned from injury, it was like he lost his touch. He scored just 1 goal in the last 7 games of the season, and could only watch as his former club Inter Milan knocked Barcelona out in the semi-finals of the Champions League, and went on to win the trophy and even complete the European treble. Zlatan.
Okay, what is the European treble? What's that? Is that like winning 3 in a row or something like that? Because I'm just trying to, you know, treble, triple. I don't know if those are, if that's what it mean in a different language or whatever. So did they win 3 titles or something like? I don't know. Is that what that is?
Had never won the Champions League. He moved to the reigning champions, hoping that would help him win it. But the season he left, his former club won it. And that defeat to Inter Milan had much bigger consequences. In the aftermath of the loss, Zlatan yelled at Pep Guardiola in the dressing room, telling him to go to hell and that he had no balls. According to him, Pep didn't say a word to him, he just left the room. But well, we're sure Zlatan himself knew that that was the end for him at the club.
Yeah, he ain't even say nothing. Got him smooth about it there.
Next game, I know I'm on the bench. Second game, bench. Third game, bench. Fourth game, bench, and then I started to make noise. But I noticed it was not about me performing anymore. It was, I think, my opinion, he felt offended for me saying to him, I needed more space. I said, you want to play with fire? I will bring you fire, but I will burn you.
According to Zlatan in his autobiography, Messi started to demand to play down the middle instead of on the wings, so Zlatan had to be sacrificed. All these factors meant an early exit for Ibrahimović. So that summer, this same dude who claimed to be a childhood Inter fan moved to AC Milan on loan. Upon signing, he said he made that move to win the Champions League with Milan. Well, not to spoil the story for you or anything, but he never did that. In fact, the season he left Barcelona, the Catalan Giants went on to win the Champions League once again.
God, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, but that is horrible luck. That is horrible luck, and it kind of seems like, this is what it seems like, don't get mad at me, that teams are better without him. Now, this is what me saying, this is about him being tall and powerful, but also it might be a speed thing. He might be slow. So teams are probably moving more fluid without him because of his speed. Him being tall and, like you said, he need more space. And it's like, hey man, you're taking up more room on the pitch, and now that you're out of here, we can move around and do more and move more fluid. And now these teams are becoming championship teams without him. And it's every time. The year he leaves, is when it happens. And it seems like his ego keep getting in the way. Like, this seems almost comical how this is happening. So when we learn about Zlatan, we learn about him like based off of him being a character here in America. We learn him about being a character as opposed to his actual soccer or football accolades and achievements. So, and we don't know nothing about his career. So this is my first time looking into his career. Then it seems like that same arrogance that we are quote unquote loving him for in America is to keep kicking him in his ass every single time. It's insane.
To break it down for you, the season before he joined Barcelona, they won the Champions League. Then he left Inter to join Barcelona, and that season, Inter won the Champions League. He then left Barcelona to join Milan, and then Barcelona won the Champions League.
That's crazy.
Mind you, Milan themselves had won the Champions League just 3 years before he joined the club. That trophy just didn't want anything to do with Zlatan. But all the other trophies, yeah. He was stacking them up like infinity stones. He won the Scudetto and the Golden Boot with Milan, and then he moved to France to join PSG in 2012, becoming the club's first big signing under the new ownership, Qatar Sports Investment. That season was incredible. He became the first player to score for 6 different clubs in the Champions League, finished as Champions League top assist provider and League One top scorer. He also became the first player to hit 30 goals in a single League One season in 23 years.
Oh, he's putting in pain. That's like what about the game doesn't put you over? Like, you're scoring all the goals, you're doing all of that, but what about it doesn't put you over? Like, what is that one missing piece that you need to put you over? That's what it seems like. Like, he has everything, but it's just that one piece that's not putting him over so he can win it.
Was named League One Player of the Season and ultimately helped PSG win the league title for the first time in 19 years. He was the one who began this current PSG dynasty. He left in 2016 as the club's all-time highest goal scorer and having won 12 trophies. Now, bear in mind at this point, he was 34 years old. So when he was set to leave France, everyone said should be looking to retire soon. When was the Premier League? Everyone said he was too old for such a tough and physically demanding league. Well, in his own words, he made the Premier League look old.
Everybody thought that I'm too old, but I came and I made the Premier League look old.
Zlatan moved to Man United in 2016 and absolutely cooked. He scored 17 goals in 28 Premier League appearances to become the oldest player to score at least 15 goals in a single season in the league. That season, he was so good that he was nominated for the PFA Player of the Year award. He was directly involved in 38 goals in 4.
So who's the oldest player that ever won it? Like, who was the oldest player that won Champions League or won a World Cup? Like, who's the oldest player? Because they're talking about, 34 is old. Now we're seeing the longevity of LeBron. We're seeing that come in, of him being 41. And we see that the game gives up on people around their 30s. And they say if you're not basically him by 25, you're never going to be him type of situation. So who's the oldest player to have done it, to achieve all
46 appearances across all competitions, helping United win the Community Shield, the EFL Cup, and the Europa League, the club's last European trophy till date. That, as well, was Zlatan's first and only piece of European silverware in his entire career.
So
He'd later become the first player to represent 7 different clubs in the Champions League when he played in it for United in 2017. Shame he never got to win it. Anyway, after a brief but successful stint in England, he moved to the MLS to join LA Galaxy at the...
And that's why we know him. We know him because basically what America gets, we get all the, we don't want to say washed up players, but that's what we kind of get. After their career over, they come over. Like, we knew at the end of Messi's career when he came over to Inter Miami. We know that's the end of his Latin career. He came over to, like, because we have the money and we have the fanfare, we have the fame over here. So, but we don't have the skill. So coming over here is just like, if I want to get a big check, let me go over to America real quick and I'll be a star.
Age of 36. How did he announce himself to the US? This dude took a full page in the LA Times and all it said was, "Dear Los Angeles, you're welcome." What a guy. But if you think that explains his ego and arrogance, you haven't seen anything yet. A whole chapter dedicated to that is coming. Anyway, his time in the US was excellent. He absolutely dominated the league with all sorts of amazing goals. Considering his age, everyone thought he'd retire in the US, but he didn't. When he had had enough of the Hollywood experience, he returned to Europe to rejoin Milan at the age of 38. Would he survive at the highest level at that age? You bet he would. See, Milan hadn't won the Scudetto.
I mean, American sports medicine is amazing. So I'm pretty sure that they prolonged his career or whatever they had over there. So that, like, yeah, you can play till you're 40 here in America because of, our sports medicine. Also questionable, but it creates longevity.
Since he helped them win it in 2011, he returned and helped them win it once again. While he was there, he reached 300 career goals in Europe's top 5 leagues, becoming the first person in the 21st century not named Ronaldo or Messi to achieve that feat. He'd finally say goodbye to the sport in 2023, but he made sure not to leave before sealing one last record, becoming the oldest player to score a goal in the history of the Serie A, doing so at the age of 41 years and 166 days.
LeBron type longevity. I get it. I see it. We rocking with you, Zlatan.
This was some real fine wine. At 40, Ronaldo is in Saudi Arabia. At 38, Messi is in the United States. But at 41, Zlatan Ibrahimović was playing and winning the league in Italy. He was just a different animal. But what made him truly different from any player we had ever witnessed was his attitude.
Yo, that bicycle kick was so goddamn slow. It was so tall and slow.
The things Zlatan did and said during his career made people fear and revere him. I mean, who even wants to mess with a Taekwondo black belt anyway? In 2004, he infamously injured his Ajax teammate Rafael van der Vaart during an international friendly. The Dutchman publicly accused Zlatan of trying to intentionally hurt him.
National game against Sweden.
Yeah.
And he kicked me on the ankle. It was really bad. You can
Yeah, it looks intentional. I'm not gonna lie.
see it on YouTube. And I was lying there, crying almost, and then I looked at him, and he was my teammate at Ajax. And he was just walking away. And after the game, I went mad. In the press, I said he did it on purpose. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
And then he went totally on me and screaming. I screamed back, and then 2 days later he left for Juventus.
And in response, Zlatan threatened to break both his legs. Also at Ajax, the Swede reportedly punched his own teammate Mido in the dressing room. But to the fair, as the story goes, the Egyptian had thrown a pair of scissors at him. But one day, Zlatan met his match. He and his Milan teammate Oguchi Onyewu got into a brawl during training, and Zlatan left with a broken rib.
He came out
Dawg, what he got going on, man?
and he describes you as a heavyweight boxer, championship boxer coming at him. And then he describes the moments. I believe he said he headbutted you and then there was a scuffle and you guys are on the ground and then everybody comes on top. He said he suffered broken ribs. What do you remember about that training session?
Well, I remember everything. I remember everything about that training session. In his book or his accounts, there are some truths, there are some lies.
Let me just ask.
He whooped that ass. He whooped that ass. He whooped out Zlatan. Look at his smile, man. He whooped out Zlatan, man. That's why he's smiling like that, because he's like, man, I whooped him out. He not gonna tell the full story of what happened, man.
Ask you, is it true that you broke his ribs?
Ask him. It's his ribs.
He said
not
he
mine.
did. He said his ribs were broken.
After
He
that,
whooped him
Incan
out.
decided to stop
He
attacking his
whooped his
teammates
Zlatan.
and leave his violence for just his opponents. That season, he made a really crazy tackle on Materazzi, which sent him to the hospital. And he came out to say it was completely
Cracked that
intentional,
man's sternum.
explaining that it was revenge for what the Italian had done to him 4 years prior.
Oh, he tried to take out the
That
ACL.
same season, he punched Marco Rossi in the stomach during a Serie A game and was banned for 3 games for it. The following year, he received another 3-game ban for slapping Salvatore.
Yo, the way you snuck it in, it's funny because he snuck it in is he smacked him from behind the other dude, and the other dude smacked him.
He took this behavior to America, slapping Michael Petrasso in the head for inadvertently stepping on him during an MLS game in 2018. Then the following year, he grabbed the neck of NYCFC's goalkeeper, Sean Johnson. When he wasn't hitting, choking, or fighting people, Zlatan was making some really brash and arrogant statements. When asked who he thought was the best striker in the Premier League during his time at United, he
Zlatan.
mentioned Lukaku and Aguero. Why didn't he mention his own name? Because lions don't compare themselves with humans.
Dawg, that's why we liked him, man. It's the American arrogance. You see what the sign say behind him. It says, "I am football." Like he was on some BS.
Who's the best striker in the Premier League right now?
For me, I like a striker that makes the difference. Lukaku is strong, Aguero is good.
You didn't say yourself. I was expecting you to say me.
Lions, they don't compare themselves with humans.
He dead ass.
This dude literally has a frame of his feet hanging in his home to, according to him, remind his family what paid for everything they now have. But despite all of this, it's just so difficult to hate on this guy because he was just too good. He's one of the 20 most decorated players in football history, one of the 5 top scorers of the 21st century,
Crazy.
and he scored some of the most beautiful goals we've ever seen, including one of the greatest goals in football history against England.
That's crazy.
He was just so complete, so intimidating, and so interesting. People say he's one of the greatest players to never win the Champions League. But well, how about we now look at someone who actually won it all? Ronaldinho did not.
So Zlatan, with his career, Dan Marino. The greats did never do it. There's so many, I feel like there's so many players that's better than the top players that never do it. I guess it's a skill thing. It's a skill over team thing. Or I don't know. Some people just have the ability to win it. Like, that's a question I have. What players do you think are actually better than the ones that they're calling the GOATs, but they never won it? They never really had the opportunity. They were always a what if, or you could see clearly, like, this person is the best player, but they never won it. Let me know in the comments. That was actually a great one. It was funny, man. Zlatan's a fool, bro. All right, y'all be easy. I'll catch you on the next one.